Oh no, he's shooting up. Oh my God.
The doors of the Love Church are now open. Dear world, you name it, we cover it from the world of singles to the behind the scenes of the greatest movie ever filmed, called Marriage. We dig into everything from dating 101. Why won't they commit? It's complicated. I can't do it if it's the three of us. They're a good person, but I'm not attracted to them in that way. 2, they really didn't disclose who they were before I said I do. How do I do this if they can't keep a job? The bills are paid, but the bedroom is suffering. Did I marry you or did I marry your family because we only can take care of us? Let's open up our marriage. Why do I have to buy into your beard gang illusion? You could have told me you were down low and we could have remained friends and not married. And last but not least, did you marry me or your pastor? Have we gotten your attention yet? If so, tune in to Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio. Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you want to hear more of today's real issues in the world of love. The doors of the Love Church are now open.
All right. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon to some, and welcome to Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio. I'm your host, Charles Dixon, and I am here with my co-host, Mr. Adam Ford. How are you, sir?
Good. What's up, family? What's going on today? How y'all doing? Yeah.
I see we got the members are already coming in. We have Miss Abigail, Miss Marlena.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to you guys. Appreciate you guys for supporting Miss Alicia. All right. Okay. Now, sir.
Oh,
Now, I noticed, Adam, before we start the show, I saw that you had a rubber band and a needle. Is everything okay? I just want to make sure. I mean, just want to make sure that we don't have to send counselors over. Everything's all right.
Yeah, everything's okay. I'm fine.
Walking all fast. But anyway.
Right.
All right. So today's topic basically is centered around something that I feel is, a huge reason for a lot of the discord and breakdown and non-existence of many healthy relationships.
Okay.
And that is because many relationships have taken the alternative route of situationships.
Oh, wow.
Now, situationships are, to me, I look at situationships. So let's back it up. When I hear the word situation in itself,
mm-hmm.
it like if you think about it, when we hear someone say, "Hey, Adam, can you come here for a second?" You're like, "Yeah, what's going on?" We got a situation. When you hear a situation,
right.
it brings to mind a problem, a conundrum, something complicated, right? It doesn't bring free running water. It just brings something that you kind of got to be tedious with.
Yeah.
And so the other, and I know for some people may not understand what a situationship is. Basically, situationships are alternative relationships from the normal process of, hello, can I take you out? I'm interested in going further. And then once that gets too committed, let's take it even further. You understand what I'm saying? And so on and so forth. And so what situations do is offer you a snapshot of some of those things minus the stress. Now, seemingly, it sounds like, well, let's really listen to what that is. But anyway, minus the stress, right? Supposedly. Minus the stress, minus all of the things that you should do and I expect you to do.
Right.
It's basically an agreement where whether it is we're just going out, we're doing this a lot, it's largely based around intimacy, if I'm just being honest.
So it's like friends with benefits.
Correct. But it's sometimes they're not even friends.
Okay. Disassociates.
It's an arrangement. It's an agreed upon arrangement. Now, here's the thing about situationships. Situationships are not bound. They're not bound by status. And that's what makes them really dangerous. So basically, a situationship could mean you ran into someone married, right? And the person is just saying, well, you know, I'm really just looking for a little friend right now. But don't worry, in exchange, I know you need a little help with such and such and such and such. So I'll help you out. You help me out. So, you know, there's the married aspect. There is the I'm living with someone aspect. There is the I'm engaged aspect. There is, you know, it's multiple reasons. Sometimes it's just the I'll deal with you in this agreement, although I don't ever see you as a spouse. But in the interim of time, it's a wonderful pastime. So I'll deal with you in that aspect. And so this is happening all over the place. And I say that because most people, if they subscribe to human companionship, wanting company, wanting to be involved, people are looking at it like, look, I've been wanting this relationship or this marriage life for such and such a long time, and it hasn't happened, whether it's male or female. And so because I'm a heterosexual or whatever your love style is, right? Whatever that is, it doesn't hinder you from what you still desire ultimately. So what people do is in the interim, this is what I do to get me by. Now, the flip side of this is there is no such thing as total engagement with anything and not necessarily feeling anything in return. Like we can't ever guarantee that whatever we indulge in, that it's just going to stay right there, and I don't care 2 cents. Because in most cases,
it never works out that way.
Correct. Because in most cases, people start off this way, and we go on this long journey, and then sometimes you look up, and you can very well start out saying, "Oh, we agreed to this, so I'm good." But once you go down that line a little bit, once that act becomes repetitious, whatever that thing that you do is, eventually you'll start to say, they didn't answer my text. Normally they respond back in 2 minutes, but it's been half the day. Now you shouldn't care, right? You shouldn't care because you know it's an arrangement. And listen, to be quite frankly, it's not your day yet, right?
Oh, it's a rotation schedule.
Your feelings because you are expounding of yourself, whether it is intimacy, whether it is time, whether it's we go out to dinner every week, whatever that cadence is. Emotionally, you're exposing yourself. And so when you emotionally expose yourself, all bets are off as opposed to what comes back with that by way of emotions and feelings. Nobody has the patent off of not feeling anything, right? So, and this is where, to me, it gets real chaotic because the whole point of the subterranean relationship is to not have to deal with the things above board. So if you're dealing with the things above board in this subterranean relationship, it makes absolutely no sense. Like how bad is it to be in your feelings in something where feelings should not exist?
Supposedly.
Because for one thing, the person has told you up front, or both parties, this is what this is. We both agree to this because in this interim of our life, it works well. So, I mean, in traditional relationships, sometimes you get the lie first. You don't get the truth always. Sometimes you get the lie to get you to go along to get along. At least in the situationship, you're getting the honesty up front. However, it still doesn't make it palatable on the way down because it's truth in front of it, right? So here we are with this situation where there's a mass group of people that are still standing under the umbrella of I'm single, but are entangled with all sorts of arrangements. Like I had alluded to last week, when you are anything that you're entangled in, you're not alone. You can call it what you want to say, but I mean, we can cut it with the whole I'm single. I'm still on dating site X. I'm
Mhm.
still entertaining DMs.
Right.
Save yourself the drama
Right.
and deal with the subterranean quicksand that you're already in.
Yeah.
So I'll let you speak if you wish to speak about how you see, because this show is largely against, it's the relationship versus the situationship,
Right.
and basically which one today fares better. So I just wanted to get a snapshot from you as to how you see general relationships, the attrition of general relationships. You know, how they typically should start, how they, the whole thing like that. We can go back and forth with it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. So real quick, and I think this kind of does go back to what we were discussing last week and what we were referring to last week in terms of the entanglement theory.
Yes.
And it's interesting how we don't like a lot of things tangled up. We don't like our cords to be tangled up. We don't like socks and clothes to be tangled up. But when it comes to our relationships and situationships, we like those as tangled as we can get them. We just put it all up, just wrapped up, tied up, tangled up, all up in the ball, all together. Chaos, mess, anarchy, confusion, disorder, anything you want to call it, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But as human beings, it's interesting because we want all of the benefits of a relationship without actually having a relationship. You know what you see the paradox there? We want the benefits of being in a committed relationship with someone, but when it really comes down to it, we don't want any of the commitment that is required in being in a relationship.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how we have this duality of thought in terms of how to proceed within a relationship. And even today, I was sitting thinking while you were talking about all of the different names and types and categories of relationships or how you love. We got, and I'm not going to go all the way down the list, but one thing that kind of struck me was the whole polyamory. The idea of I love who I love, and I want to love multiple people at one time. Y'all help me real quick. I know. I was born in the 1900s. Okay, I was born in the 1900s. I will confess to that. Okay, so I believe, and don't do your eyes like that because you were born in the 1900s too. So don't act like you wasn't. So I believe in one man, one woman, and understand. This is me. This is my personal philosophy. Okay, I'm not preaching at anybody. I'm just saying this is what I believe in. Okay, when you begin to add more people to the equation of a relationship, it's going to become more than you can handle because the equation was never. The equation of relationship was never designed to handle more than one. It was never designed to handle more than one. It is a one-on-one dynamic.
Correct.
And let's be honest, even with the one-on-one dynamic, it's still not as clear-cut as we would like it to be. You know what I'm saying? Listen. And I'm about to get in trouble on this. So go ahead and call Maria now. Go ahead and call her. Call her right now.
All right.
Listen, I got to deal with her stuff. She got to deal with my stuff. As crazy as it might be, as extreme as it might be, we got to deal with each other. Our different backgrounds, we got to deal with each other's issues, our idiosyncrasies, our deficiencies, our inadequacies, our strong points, our aspirations. All of these different things come into the mix when it comes to being in a relationship.
Hi, Maria.
Oh, Maria. You know what? Never mind. I'm done.
Yeah. See, look at him. Look, y'all.
I'm done. I'm out.
No, you were doing so well, Adam. This was great.
Listen. This is what I'm saying.
Go ahead, Adam.
The reality is that even in my relationship with my wife, there's going to be complications.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make this real clear. How is it that I would want to add another person to this relationship, further complicating what we already have?
Wow.
Because if you do it two, at least we know with the one-on-one, both on some levels will be fulfilled. But if you do 3 or 4, now we're talking about who is going to get left out. Because I guarantee you, somebody's going to get left out. Somebody's feelings going to be hurt. Correct. Somebody's going to be feeling abandoned and neglected. You know what I'm saying? And so to add all of this extra stuff, whereas the platform of relationship was only designed with one-on-one in mind in terms of being with a relationship partner, that's it.
Yeah.
Why do you want to make it more than what it is? And again, here's the thing though. So operating outside of marriage, and you're out there and you're trying to find your person and everything like that, you're making it hard on yourself. Because now you got to keep up with all of the storylines that you've already told all of these different people in order to keep them captivated and intrigued with you.
Yeah.
Now you got to remember who's on Tuesday, who's on Wednesday. You're in your rotation. I would say something else, but I'm just going to say rotation.
Right.
Keeping up with everybody that's on the schedule. Right. So that you can that you're working to please them as much as you possibly can so that they don't leave you.
Yeah. Multiply
that by how many people they're doing it with as well.
Wow.
You talk about a mess.
Yeah, that's a whole entangled mess.
Here's my thing, and I'm going to say it one more time, and I'm going to keep on saying it because it's true. I am so glad that I only got one to deal with. Because that one, and I know she's listening, that one is more than enough.
Yeah, that's it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah,
man, this is good, man. I mean, I will say this. Now, this is something I've thought about in the whole conception of this show. Mm-hmm. Is I do believe there is an element of the situationship realm that perhaps traditional relationship can adapt. I'll tell you what that is. Wait before y'all say, what, polygamy? No, I don't mean that. Nothing like that. Right. What I am saying is, when I think about situationships and how so many people are vastly signing up to be a part of this, world, I say to myself, there has to be something over there besides just the interaction between a man and a woman or whatever you do. It got to be something more than just that. Okay. And I said, I believe what it is what drives people to these alternative relationships. It is the mirage. You know how like in the desert, in the mirage, you look over there and say, oh, there's water and fruit on the tree, but you get over there, it's just sand. But I think in the situationship world, you get to go and you spend time with this person according to the way you desire. Okay. No one is bringing bills into the conversation in the bedroom. Nobody's bringing problems about the children into the bedroom. Nobody's talking about all these other things. Think about it. It's just a room or wherever you are and you and that person and the agreement. Okay. So in that space, it could, of course, it's going to feel or appear to be like you're on vacation and, this is such a getaway from my norm. You understand what I'm saying? Because you're not in the norm. You're in this make-believe space. Because in real life and in real relationships, things do come up that you need to address. Yeah. So, however, I will say this. To the situationship world, I believe people in the regular world could adopt things like this in their marital bedrooms. You can agree to say, hey, let's save bill talk or children talk for the family room. But the bedroom is our space. Okay. You don't bring those things in here so that it will mirror what the straying person thinks they're getting outside in your own personal bedroom. Because really the only thing about it, look, I'm not even going to lie and say sometimes people stray because of physical shortcomings. I'm not even going to lie. People go out there because they're not getting a certain thing, right? But some people go out there because it's just different from what's here. What's here is overwhelming, it's too much. You just won't do. Stop talking about this. I told you it's too much, and I worked already hard enough, so I don't want to come home to this with you too.
Okay.
And so if they can't get it at home, they start to go out and nurture and develop these alternative agreements that allow them the space to do what they want to do, the same as they would at home with their person, but they do it minus the chatter, minus the noise.
Okay.
So for them, that repetitive agreement feels enlightening. It feels entertaining, right? But we know it's not reality, but we fall for it nonetheless.
So let me just jump in with you to help you out with this whole idea, because I do agree with you. And let me just kind of flesh it out a little bit more. I understand. Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to the bedroom life of that couple, of that marriage, it should be devoid of everything else that has happened. You know, like we have rooms in our houses. We have the dining room where we eat our dinner. We have the kitchen where we prepare the food. We have the living room where we watch TV. We have the basement. Maybe we work out or play games down there. So every room within the house has a designated purpose. And so if we're going to continue with that thought, that premise, then we're going to say that the bedroom is the place where we become intimate with one another, where we are vulnerable with one another. We are sexually active with one another. And so you shouldn't have kitchen dishes in your bedroom.
Correct. Perfect. That's it. Yeah.
You shouldn't have a whole bunch of food in your bedroom. You should have your bed and your pajamas, your cozy socks or whatever in your bedroom, because that is the appropriate place for it. And so to continue further with this premise, then yes, we absolutely should not be having all these other conversations when it comes to our life within the bedroom. Now, let me say it like this too. What it's going to require, and this is going to be something that we're going to have to actually actively work at. What it's going to require is that we think in our minds that, okay, we're going into the bedroom. Let me leave everything else outside of the door.
Yes, that's it.
Which means I have to actively, not passively, but actively remember and be conscious of what I'm saying in the bedroom.
Correct.
I have to walk into the bedroom with my mindset already established that, okay, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to take place. This is how we're going to be together in this. And I understand, everybody, listen, I'm not just talking about sex.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is setting an atmosphere in a place where we can be open and intimate with one another, sharing our feelings, sharing our thoughts, having those deep conversations that are necessary to continue to further the longevity of the relationship.
Correct.
And so that's how you got to that's how you got to do it. One of the things I want us to get out of this conversation, if we don't get anything else, is the fact that all of this stuff that I've just described and that Charles has described is going to take effort and work. Yeah. None of these things are going to happen by osmosis. None of these things are going to happen accidentally. These are not going to be an act of God. These are going to be the things that you participate in. You choose to participate in making your relationship not a situationship, untangling the tangled mess, and coming into a place where you are clear as to what it is that you and your spouse are going to do.
Man, that's good. I mean, hey, listen, the way I see this also is it's just a thing where, like I said, you have to be conscious as to how we are approaching this thing with that room if we're staying there. Think about all of you all who go and partake in massages, right? If you go to pay for a massage of any kind, you notice how when you come in and say, I have, the mood is set the minute you come in the door. You talk about the paperwork, and then they say such and such is going to take you back. Well, when you go into that room that we can equate to the bedroom, right? They take you in that room and say, the first thing they say, well, just go ahead and get comfortable and lay right there, right? That's the beginning of it. So you get in there, and when we come into this room, immediately you hear the music. It's just the vibe of the room. You're not thinking about your bills. You're not thinking about arguing with your person. You're thinking about, wait a second, service.
Okay.
I'm about to have service.
Right.
Basically. You know, somebody's going to please me, if you get my drill. So you come into this room and your mind is already, oh yeah. Anyway, I'm just teasing. But let's get too far gone. Anyway, your mind starts to preparing for this. Like 529 said, Zen, and Danielle said ambience. That's where your mind goes. So this is where I am saying, I believe this is where the loophole happens from the traditional to the situationship.
Okay.
How we view that bedroom.
Yeah.
And I think the bedroom it appears to be more exciting and pleasing outside of the house, because that particular space, wherever it or that occurs, is a Zen-like atmosphere. It's just you and I don't care if it's the car or it's here and there in this room, bath, whatever. It is a design place that we have simplified just for the foolery.
Yeah.
My point I'm saying is, in real time, in real relationship, there's no reason in a real marriage that you can't separate the rooms to mean different things, right? This room is for this. So when we come in here, we focus on ambience, Zen towards one another. You get what I'm saying? And we go from there instead of just allowing this, because if we don't start to make these changes, this situation world is never going to end.
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong. People get on that situation wheel and get beat up emotionally. They get tired. Because think about it. Here's the weirdness. I start out wanting a relationship. I start with a relationship. Great woman, great guy. Let's move on. This and this happened. Well, along the way, somebody grows fatigue in the consistent department.
Okay.
So things start to change. The dynamic shifts. One person doesn't feel that you're giving it enough to attention and love or whatever. So the bickering starts, the arguing starts. The next thing you know, the shift starts.
Okay.
So when the shift starts, relationship eventually dwindles to an end. Now the person is saying, you know what? I don't have time for this and this. I'm just going to do me. So do me means I'm going down into the basement. I'm going subterranean to find what I need.
Okay.
So there's no shortage ever of somebody somewhere on this earth that is not willing to appease you underground.
Oh, yeah.
Always somebody there ready to appease you there. However, you got to say to yourself, why would I allow you to have access to something so valuable down here, right? That you couldn't respect me enough to give me up there, right? Okay. So why do I need to go down here with you to do this? Why can't we come up here? And if I'm good enough to be in this agreement, let's take it a step further and talk about making it an official agreement. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Why do we have to have this subterranean agreement? Why can't we just have an official document, whatever, and go from there? But see, so we have to say to ourselves, I have wrote something down really quickly where I said traditional relationships are initiated to hope for love. Okay. Situationships are initiated to exist outside of love.
Wow.
This is where we go wrong. So it's like the traditional route, we're hoping that this works out and we find this person. But in the situation world, we just trying to exist and be maintained in the interim. And so there's a disconnect there that we have to address. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get that. That makes a lot of sense. That's why it goes back to what I was saying earlier about the fact that we get into situationships, and the reason why we get into situationships is because they are devoid of the idea of commitment to one another. And when you don't have commitment, then you are liable to do any and everything because you're not in a commitment with the person. Yeah. So you're allowed to do whatever you want to do, and the other person's allowed to do what they want to do. Ooh. But the problem with this is that at some point, one of the two are going to catch feelings.
Absolutely.
We're human beings. We have emotions. We attach to things. We have affections for things. Okay. And so the reality is, after a while, okay, you're going to start to feel a certain way about what the other person's doing, particularly if it doesn't involve you and it involves somebody else. You're going to feel some kind of way about that. You can sit here and act like you're not, but the reality, when it comes to it, you're going to feel something like that, because the reason why you're in a situationship is because you want a relationship, but you just don't know how to go about having a real relationship. And so you get into a situation where you go, okay, well, you know what? Let's just try this out and see how this works. You know, we're just going to be friends with benefits and we're going to do all this stuff, you know, and you do all the physical stuff with it. You do all the physical activity with all that stuff that it goes with it. Okay, fine. But then you totally, completely neglect the emotional aspect and the mental aspect of it. You don't realize what it's going to cost you on the back end, because on the front end, you think everything is good. We got this going, you doing me, I'm doing you, we feeling good. But on the back end, your heart's starting to get a little something. You know what I'm saying? Mentally, psychologically, something is clicking and happening. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes. And Bruce made a good point. Bruce says, how does it affect the next relationship when they want to do it right?
That's good.
I'm going to tell you how it affects.
Yeah.
And I have said this for years. No one wants to pay for anything that someone else gets for free. And the point I'm making when I say that is this. When you decide, whoever you are, man or woman, when you decide to go subterranean, you, in essence, however you slice it, you are putting your own clearance mark down on yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
You putting the red tag on sticker over top of the original price of you, and you putting yourself in the category, because let's just face it, most clearance sections are in a specific area of the store away from the normal merchandise.
Right. That's
so
right.
In this situation in the relationship world, when we subcategorize ourselves to partake in these alternative relationships, we're saying that's okay. Right now, I'm feeling a little marked down anyway, whether I believe I am. So I'm going to go over here and be on this rack for a while. So how many times, to answer Bruce's questions, how many times do we see an item that is being on its way to being discontinued?
Yeah.
How often do we see it get the red tag pulled off of it and put back out on the floor again?
Right.
Most of the times when we find ourselves in the clearance area, that's usually the transition exit.
Out, yeah.
You're either sold or you're off to Marshall's or some Ross.
Wow.
You know, you're taken out of the main store and the levels go lower and lower. So this is why I say it's hard to recapture value. You know, value is either got at hello or it's never gotten at all.
Wow.
People either going to see you for who is, if you see it with your all spiritual eye, when you see somebody initially, you get it that either that person has the value or they don't.
Right.
That's just what it is. And when you know that value isn't present, you begin to treat the person accordingly, whether it's unbeknownst to you or not. You start treating them like they're not valuable to you. And so this is why, if nobody else maintains their value, it should be you. Forget about what someone else thinks. You need to maintain the value for yourself. So just think about it like this. It is infuriating to me. Over time, I would remember having conversations with people that maybe I've had a relationship with before, or we were cool or whatever. And when I listened to them, maybe there were times where there were feelings still kind of fluttering around, that kind of thing like that. But when I have a conversation with them and you ask them how are they holding up, they give you the basic response. Oh, I'm just out here chilling, I'm just, doing me, not too much, having fun with my friends, which really equates to I have off the book relationships that maintain me in the meanwhile. But I am still single with the flag up. And
Right.
so what that does is I just say, wow, like a lot of us, we just struggle to be built to hold fast. Like we struggle in the holding fast part. It's like one way or the other, we got to have an interaction. Like we got to have an exchange. But those exchanges and those interactions are costly.
Yeah.
Once you go to giving and offering, heck, a man, it happens no differently for a man. A man that tosses it out all the time, he gets disrespected no differently than a woman that offers it up all the time. She gets disrespected. And people may not tell you this to your face, but the reason we struggle so long in the single space is because people are saying, I'm not taking you seriously. You don't even take you seriously.
Wow.
So I'm not going to take. Why do I need to put all this effort and do all this and treat you this way and alter my life to do all of these things to accommodate you when you don't even get the picture of who you really are and how you should condone, how you should just govern your own self and your own body.
Yeah.
So this is a serious issue because I talked to guys. I was at the barbershop earlier today listening to a guy in their talk, and he was talking about how, Herbie get me right. Like he came on his lunch break and he told the barber, hurry up and get me right. I got some appointments this evening.
Wow. Appointment.
Like, what you mean? Like what you gotta? So I knew where he was going, but I wanted to get what I wanted to get out of him. I said, what, you got an interview? He said, no. He said, I gotta go over here and I'm gonna smash out my 2:30 appointment, and then I got another one at 6. And I said, who are these? He said, the one at 2:30 is married. The one at 6 is just a little chick that lived with a dude, but she told him she likes the way he handles her.
Wow.
With this guy at 6 o'clock. But here's the thing, I'm not being funny. I don't know what he does behind closed doors, but to just look at the guy off the surface, he ain't nothing right on about it. But guess what? It doesn't matter if the other person agrees.
Yeah.
If they agree to the foolishness, then hey, kudos to him. I guess that's the way he sees it.
Yeah.
But it's amazing to me that we get into these things and we don't realize, like, we have to grow up because we don't always be at these places, because God knows, Adam, I've had my share of situation. But anyway,
well, we know that's true.
This is why I can tell you, Danielle, like you said earlier. But anyway, no, I can tell you, Danielle, seriously. I'm joking, but I'm seriously. I can tell you how these things work is because it amazes me how you'll see people give themselves in the most 100% way of the act, right? They'll do everything, right? But then turn right around when the act is done and go back to business as usual.
Wow.
Whether that's husband, whether that's boyfriend, whether that's whatever the case.
Yeah.
But I'm here for this in this moment. And when I'm done, I'm going to see you again in a week.
Wow.
That's deep to me, that you can just really, that you can fix yourself to say, I'm selfish enough to compartmentalize what's happening in this moment because I have a need.
Right.
But the greedy part of me knows that other person is paying these bills and keeping the lights on, so I'm going to go back and lay beside them anyway. But I prefer to be here.
Right.
That's a deep thing to me.
So
go ahead.
So I just want to jump in real quick and just, we had this conversation a while ago. I think probably really want to show, but it just came back so strong to my mind. So Guy with Teddy Riley came up with this song, talk about a piece of my love. And what you were saying reminds me so much of the fact that so many of us have settled for just a piece of what we believe to be love.
Yes.
We have settled for something that might not even be the actual thing.
Yeah.
It'll be something that's not even, but it's close enough to it
Yes.
for us to accept it.
Yes.
How far has our desperation pushed us to a place where we're willing to accept something that is not the authentic article, okay? And realize, and here's the thing, you understand and you realize this is not the authentic article.
Yeah.
This is an artificial substitute for something that you're really looking for.
Yeah.
It ain't the real thing.
Wow.
You're willing to settle for something like that. How far? Okay, so I'm gonna kind of diverge a little bit. You have allowed your need for something to control you to the point that it has pushed you past the point of really realizing that you don't have to settle for everything that comes around the corner for you. You don't have to. The world has made you think that. Society has made you think that. Our culture has made you think that. But the reality is, you don't have to settle for just a piece. You don't.
And here's the crazy part about it. If we're honest, in relationships, people struggle to keep quiet from speaking their mind about something they feel that's an offense.
Yeah.
But in situationships, it's basically saying feelings are involved, but they are unjustly undefined. Like basically you have no voice. You got your feelings, but you have no voice here. And so why we think that's more pleasing than the relationship, at least you get to talk about it and express your feelings. In the situationship stratosphere, you don't want to hear about no feelings. I can remember one time this lady was talking. This is a short story.
Story time, everybody.
She's the one who dictated the situationship. I was actually open to the relationship, but she said at the time she didn't think she was in the space and all this, and I wasn't in a relationship at the moment, so I was like, okay, fine, we can just hang out, because she said she wanted to hang out and all this kind of stuff. Fine, hang out and all this kind of stuff, and eventually all of that. Okay, so all right, later, fast forward. Now it's like I can remember like yesterday. I got off work and I washed my clothes, got me some. I went to my regular mojo of what I had to do. I looked at my phone when I sat down to look at Monday Night Football. You really should have said something to me. It's been 3 hours. I didn't hear nothing from you, and I'm sitting there like, wait. I mean, she ripped me in this long text about me not communicating with her. And I politely said it calmly. I said, was this text for me? Because if so, it's clearly out of context. Because we don't have a relationship. Remember? So the point is, so I had to remind her in that instance, and I get it. Listen, I get it, because I've had to learn to evolve to say, just because you're in this situationship, it doesn't mean that people's feelings don't want to be acknowledged. But that's the whole point of not getting into this, because that's what it's not about. It's not about your feelings. It's about an agreement. And so if you don't have the kind of tough skin to live in that world, don't get in there, because it's not built for so many people get in, they think they can. What I call it is the backdoor approach. They get into it with these stories. They meet people about why they're not ready to be on a full-on relationship. But what they're really asking you is, let me practice with you in being in a full-on relationship, but under the auspices of subterranean relationship. I really want a relationship, but I want to practice first to get close enough to you to suggest what I really want. And that's just the cowardly way of doing it. If you're not ready emotionally, don't do it. Because it's not for the faint at heart. If you don't want to, if you know that you just got your feelings hurt by your ex-husband, wife, whomever, you had a breakup, all these things, and now all of a sudden you're open to this new world. It doesn't work for the average. Put it like it's for the average person. I'm not going to say some people that have some broken crevices in their world, The situationship world fits right perfectly with what they do and their mindset. They could turn it on and turn it off like it's nothing. Some people can't do it, but I wouldn't suggest it because it's not ultimately a healthy decision.
It's not.
I mean, it's not an ultimate healthy decision to nobody to take, to allow anybody to practice GPSing all over your spirit and your body under the auspices of no, like there is no recourse. You don't owe me no explanation, no communication. There don't have to be any intentions, no expectations other than you showing up on Wednesday at 6.
Wow.
Just really low of us. You understand what I'm saying? And so we have to really think about that. Go ahead.
So, and again, one of the things that just came to my mind in terms of what you were just describing is the fact that we have reduced, Lord have mercy. So we've made it transactional.
Yes.
We've turned it into a business deal, if you will, commerce. And I'm not trying to look. Listen, I'm not saying y'all prostitutes. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying we prostitutes. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this: that there is obviously an exchange happening in terms of you providing for me what I need, and I'm providing for you what you need. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's an exchange of I don't even want to say it like this, but money for sex, you know, okay, or payment of rent, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, it's bills. That's real talk. Bills. Some people just it's an exchange for something I need.
That's the deal. That's the transaction. And so what we try to do in terms of making it transactional is we try to disconnect our emotions from the transaction. We try to disconnect our psychology from the transaction. But the reality is we can't do that. We were not created to be like that. That's not how this works. You know what I'm saying? I cannot imagine trying to be with somebody who I did not have feelings about.
Yes.
That is so, for me personally, as a man, I cannot imagine trying to be with somebody. I told my wife this when we were dating. I could not imagine trying to be with somebody who I had no emotional value for. You know what I'm saying? That they actually meant something to me. That I saw in them the worth that they had. You know what I'm saying? And for me to be with somebody and I don't feel some kind of way about them, come on, y'all. I'm never going to sell myself short. Why would you sell yourself short in that regard? Because we are more than that. We're more than just hips, lips, and fingertips. We're more than just biceps and abs and thighs. We have a soul. We have spirit. We have intellect. Come on. Why would you sell yourself just for the parts of your body? As if you were disassembling yourself and just selling pieces of yourself off. Like you in a junkyard. You know how they do in the junkyard? They take the car apart. They don't sell the whole car. But
the money is in the individual parts.
The individual parts.
Yeah.
And taking those parts, you disassemble them, and now you're selling them off to the highest bidder.
Yes.
Are you not worth more than that? Are you not worth more than the sum of your parts? Are you greater than the sum of your parts? Or less than? Come on, let's think about this.
The key is you have to see yourself as such.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely.
You got to see it,
You got to see. And then here's the thing, though. So now we're talking about it psychologically. We're talking about it emotionally. Because these are the parts that we can't see, but yet they are so significant and valid in terms of how we perceive ourselves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so if I perceive myself as less than, not worth having an actual relationship with, but I can, if I'm not worth having a relationship, maybe I can just do this entanglement. Yeah. Maybe I'm just worth an entanglement. Maybe I'm just worth a situationship. I don't rate an actual relationship. You got to change your mind, man. You got to change the way you see yourself, man. Take off those glasses for a change. Go to the optometrist and get your eyes checked because you need to change the way you see yourself.
Yeah.
Come on.
And I think sometimes we carry a degree of guilt. Someone was asking me a question, like they wanted my opinion of a situation, but immediately when I took in what I saw, I just summed it up as a situation. That's what it looked like to me.
Okay.
So I gave my opinion, and the person was very short in return.
Wow.
So to me, my thing is, but you asked for it.
That's what, right.
My thing is, if you ask for something, don't get into your feelings for what you agreed to.
Right.
If you agree to it, this is why I say either, you know, we got this term we say about standing on business. If you can't stand on the business of situationships, don't get in it.
Get in.
It is not for the faint of emotion.
No,
If you're the person that you know eventually you're not going to, because people that have a lot to say in relationships, their challenge in situationships is muzzling themselves.
Yeah.
They're going through getting what they're getting out of it in the moment, but there are things they want to say or things they feel should potentially be like this. So the challenge is the person is over there like, I don't want to hear what you got to say because this ain't that. This ain't the space for that. Take that on home with you. I'll talk to you later. You know, so you have to be in the headspace to be able to deal with that, because this is not a pretty picture at all.
It's not. And again, my encouragement to everybody who's listening to this, and even those who are listening who have friends, and I know you got friends that are in entanglements. You got friends that are in situationships.
Yeah.
Encourage them to evaluate that thing, man. Do an evaluation of that whole situation so that you can know for yourself what you're in and the value that it actually has. That's like buying a house. We're going to go back to the house analogy. Before you buy that house, you have an assessor that comes in and assesses the house from top to bottom to see all of the different issues that the house may have, all of the different rooms that the house may have, the amenities, the square footage of the house, the house that the neighborhood that the house is in. All of these things contribute to the overall value of the house. If your relationship is really a situationship in the shadows, you need to reevaluate that thing and assess it for what it actually is. Take a hard, cold look at the facts. Yeah. Does she have me on a schedule? Can I only show up at around 5:30 in the evening time at this specific place? How come I've never met any of his friends? How come he's never introduced me to his friends? Wow. How come I don't go out on date? We always meeting up in the hotel room. How come we never go out to eat? We don't never go to the movies nowhere.
Wow.
Oh, y'all. Sometimes you got to be critical about these things. Ask the hard questions so you can get to the truth of the matter.
The answers.
Yourself. You know what I'm saying? And get out of that thing.
Right. I mean, man, listen, you're talking about, when you brought up the part about houses, it made me think of something I thought about. So the whole thing of relationships from the traditional standpoint, it puts me in the mind of, let's just say, it's America's standard of structured housing for love and marriage, right? Okay. But situationships put me in the mindset of subsidized public housing.
Oh, here we go.
You have to look at it in tiers.
Yeah.
And so nobody really, like, we're thankful to live anywhere we're able to lay our head, right? But if you had a choice, most people would choose to go up to the big house.
Okay.
They don't want to necessarily live somewhere where they feel that they may not have access to a lot of great things that they may get through this relationship here, right? And so we have to say to ourselves, you know, what kind of decisions am I making? Because a lot of us, look, I'm by no means am I setting myself aside from this situation, because I know I have taken part, right? I can be honest. So I've been through it on the side of choosing. I've been through it on the side of being asked to do it. So my point is, I understand it, but it's not a good place to be. It doesn't, it makes you, now, for the Charles that could really do away with all of the questions, it did well for that person, right? But for the Charles in reality of the real world and the evolving of his mind, those worlds don't work, because it makes you walk away leaving. I don't care what you getting, because for a while, for a man, it's like, I'm getting this without any feedback or any list associated with it or any outcome of expectation. It seems like, why would you want to do anything differently? But after being engaged in it, you begin to, not only you feel bad for the person allowing it, but you feel empty as a man.
Right.
Because what you're doing is not bringing any value to your life at all or to your spirit.
Yeah.
It's just you just going along to get along, and for what? Another notch under your belt. So my point is, it's just really a fruitless relationship. But
so here's the thing, real quick. Relationships by design are supposed to be fulfilling.
Yeah.
By design.
Yeah.
The original intent was to be fulfilling. I fulfill you, you fulfill me, we fulfill each other. We are filled.
Yes.
We don't walk away empty in our relationships.
Yeah. The substance is there.
The substance is there. We are fulfilled. We are fulfilled. If you're in a relationship, you ought to be fulfilled. It's when you get into entanglements and situationships that you walk away from the dinner table feeling like you didn't eat nothing at all. You know what I'm saying? You ever been to somebody's house, maybe on a oh Lord, I remember this. I'm not gonna tell that story. All I'm gonna say is you need to make sure that when you walk away from the table, you are fulfilled.
Right.
A relationship ought to be making you feel fulfilled. Okay? Entanglements will never fulfill you. Situationships will never fulfill you. If anything, they're going to do the opposite. They're going to empty you out. They're going to drain you.
Correct.
Everything that's inside of you, they're going to pull it right on out. You're going to walk around feeling like a daggone, feeling empty, feeling gutted every single time because it's not fulfilling, because it's not what you're supposed to have. Junk food does not fill you. You know what? You know what?
In the comments. Oh, Adam, Maria said that you all have a beautiful marriage because a situationship is inside of it. But anyway, so that's good. Y'all got the best of both worlds. You get to play role play. Hey, look, what time you got to be over here at 9 o'clock? Anyway.
Hey. Look, listen. I'm not gonna stop nobody. If you win that, hey, you know what? Do your thing. You know what I'm saying? The reality is, you ought to be fulfilled. Situationships do not fulfill you. Yeah. Entanglements do not fulfill you. Friends with benefits do not fulfill you. You know what's interesting about junk food? What's interesting about junk food is the fact that you can eat it. You can eat a potato chip, some Fritos, some Cheetos, and for a moment, you were like, "Oh, this tastes good. This tastes good. This tastes good." And for a moment, your hunger or your thirst, if you're drinking soda, it'll go away. But the reality is, when that hunger returns, which will be in less than 15 minutes, you'll still be hungry. That thing has not really satisfied the hunger in you. It's not until you really get some real solid food in your system that you'll be satisfied and fulfilled. Your relationships, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters of the house of unique perspectives, love talk. No, do better. Yes.
Come on now.
You understand up in here tonight. I need y'all to understand up in here that your relationship should make you feel fulfilled. It ought to be that thing that satisfies your soul. And here's the thing about real relationships that are good. Real relationships that are good, you get fulfilled and you're satisfied, but you want more. You always come back for more, man. You always come back for more because
if the cook prepared more food. But anyway, so I'm playing anyway. But no, seriously, no, you're right. You're right. It should. If you look at it from that perspective, it's like the conversation your parents will tell you. Yeah, you might have a sweet tooth.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to live off a sweet tooth all day. You want to have the sweet tooth is only sweet because it's preceded by a full balanced meal.
Yes.
Yeah. Sweets you can't live off of sweets forever. And that's how I see situationship. It's sweet.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You can try to live off sweets. You can try to live off soda. You can try to live off Doritos and potato chips and candy. But I guarantee you, your health is going to be jacked up. Right. You're going to have hypertension, you're going to have high blood pressure, you're going to have sugar diabetes.
Everything.
You know what I'm saying? You're going to end up with some digestion problems. Okay.
Yeah,
You're going to end up obese because you're not eating the right foods. You're going to end up dehydrated because you're not drinking water.
Yes.
The only thing that really completely satisfies, watch this, is the authentic, genuine article. Everything else is an artificial substitute.
Wow.
I'm not going to live off artificial substitutes. I want the real
deal.
thing.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you, this is, I mean, dang, you know. Church people, you know, the people lay it out on the floor, you know, crying and everything. You know, anyway, no, this was good, man. I really hope. I mean, listen. At the end of the day, let me just say this disclaimer.
Yes.
We only give our opinions on various topics and things that come up to surface.
Yeah.
But you know, I do realize there are people out here, Adam, as we're talking. They have been in situationships for over 20 years.
Wow.
It works for them, right? And by no means am I coming on nobody's show. I'm not coming on nobody's street to tell you to do anything different than what you do. Right. We're just giving an opinion as to how we see it.
Yeah.
And how we're just saying, hey, you know, perhaps think about this a different way. Like for me, when I say things, post things, whatever, it's not to infuriate anybody. It's just to cause you to adjust your perspective on something.
Yeah.
And so this is all this show is. It's just, hey, look at this. Yeah, it's something that's been going on forever, but have you ever thought about it from this lens?
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. Yeah. So I hope you guys were able to get something out of this.
I want to say this real quick. So you know what the thing is? Even though you've been in it for as long as you've been in it, 12, 15, 17, 20, 25 years, there is always a way out.
Yeah.
Even with dealing with sugar diabetes, and there are clinicians and doctors and people that can help you get out of what you're in.
Yeah.
You don't have to stay where you are. You can escape. There is an escape for you. Maybe you need to change that diet up. Maybe you need to change those habits up. You know?
We have a testimony on tonight. Sister Rachel Tap from the Southeast Church. She says, literally, and this is no joke to you, Richie. I'm just taking what you said. She says, literally, just got dumped today. It was definitely a situationship. I feel foolish, but I can't blame anyone but myself.
Wow.
I can roll with that 100%.
Absolutely.
Because she owned it.
Yeah.
So the problem is you can't come out screaming, kicking, and all this and mad and failing to acknowledge that you signed up for it.
Wow.
So there's always room at the change of cross when you acknowledge it. She acknowledged her part.
Yeah.
So you can work with that, but what you can't work with is when you are in denial of what you signed up for.
Yeah.
Like you're in this thing, but then you got the nerve to cuss the person out because they changed the narrative.
Right.
You signed up for it. It didn't serve you. That's it. You live to see another day. Own it. Move on. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
Yeah. Let go of all that baggage. Let go of all of that past stuff that was involved in that situation.
Yeah.
That thing loose. Take it outside. Put it in the park. Put it on the driveway. Light that junk on fire.
Because guess what that does to Rachel, though, depending on how you look at it. What that does is, yes, in the moment, it doesn't feel good. I'm not going to lie, right? In the moment, nobody likes a change up to routine. So in the moment, it's not great. But what it does, the good thing about it is it teaches you how to change course.
Yes.
And now going forward, your person to be at the right level, not subterranean, will get the version of you that no longer wants to look below anything below normal surface love.
Yeah.
And that's what you want. So that's all.
Yeah. You learn how to pivot. You learn how to change that direction real quick. You readjust that thing. And here's the thing that I want everybody to understand. And listen to me, Sister Trap, Sister Rachel. Listen real good. That when that next opportunity comes for a situationship, you will remember the pain of the past entanglement that will help you to remember what you went through previously so that you don't go into that same situation again.
Absolutely, because it will reintroduce
it. It's coming back.
The longer, put it this way, this is important for everyone to notice. Mm-hmm. The longer a vacancy resides in your life, mm-hmm. that temptation to fill it with something alternative will always be there.
Yeah.
So the point is, you just have to say, listen, I know I'm tired of being alone. I don't want to sleep in this bed alone. I don't want to not have any interaction with a man or a woman, whatever it is that you do. Yeah. At the end of the day, again, remember that it's harder to regain consciousness once you have lowered your value than it is to just wait at the value that you've already set.
Come on.
There's something to be said about when you buy a car. You know how they always say, oh, it loses value soon as you leave the lot. But guess what? If you keep them miles low, your resale value is always better than something with 1,000, over 150,000 miles on it. So keep that mindset in mind, and you'll be fine. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching Love Talk Radio. We will be back next Thursday, 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Same bat channel, and we will come back with something else, hopefully and prayerfully uplifting to help you guys and help us all, that is.
Absolutely.
Where's my rehab? Anyway, all right, everybody. Talk to you guys next week. All right.
You don't know what he.
Dear world.
Messing up.
What is going on?
All right, buddy. Peace out, everybody. Look, this might got something. You good now? You got no unplugged message, right? You good? Okay.
I'm good. This was a good show. This was a good show.
All right.
I really like making it. This was good. Okay, I got nothing to say. I got to go do something else.
So I will be dropping into the comment section the situationship application for people. There's a long waiting list of people that are waiting to get in. No, we're just kidding. Playing. Talk to you guys next week.
You're not lying.